Well, we are at a very critical stage in our activities in the region to address climate change. Critical because our heads of government a couple of years ago approved a regional strategy and asked the Centre to develop a regional implementation plan for that strategy. We have now completed that implementation plan. It has been endorsed by COTED and by the Community Council. And here at the Inter-sessional, we hope to have the heads finally endorse the implementation plan, which will be more or less a roadmap for the Caribbean, for action in the Caribbean, to inform not only regional but national action to deal with climate change. I must say that even though the final endorsement has not come from heads, donors have reacted very responsively. They have been very responsive to this effort by the region, and we have already earmarked funding from a couple of agencies to start implementing that plan.
Are we, as it were, swimming against the tide?
I would not say so. Swimming against the tide in terms of the pace of the global negotiations to get a follow-up Kyoto treaty to the Kyoto Protocol. But certainly, as far as the Caribbean is being concerned, we've been addressing this as an issue since 1997. So we are trying to put ourselves in a strategic position so that when, and if I want to be pessimistic and say if climate finance does materialize, the region will be well placed to access those resources.
From a scientific point of view, what are we seeing in terms of the impact of climate change in this region?
Well, I don't even think you have to be a scientist to understand what is happening, not with weather, changing weather patterns, the sorts of tropical storms that create havoc. Thomas last year, we have floods and droughts. We are experiencing in our everyday life an intensifying of these weather-related events. And the projections are that if really we continue in a business as usual course, this is going to be exacerbated. So it's something that we have to pay attention to, even for our existence with the present experience we are having with weather.
And what is the CARICOM strategy for Rio Plus 20?
Well, climate change is one of the issues there. As far as Rio Plus 20 is concerned, the Secretariat, the CARICOM Secretariat basically has taken the lead in getting the region more or less aligned with some of the developments for Rio Plus 20. It's an opportunity, again, of course, at Rio Plus 20 to reaffirm the fears that we have had in terms of not only climate change but other critical environmental issues. And hopefully at Rio Plus 20 there'll be a recommitment, a global recommitment to address these issues seriously.
And I would imagine from a social point of view, the issue of migration from one vulnerable nation to safe ground would also be occupying the attention of the committee.
Well, for us, really, this is one of the things that is not so much a concern for us because it's usually a migration outwards from our countries. I think this is one of the issues that basically has sharpened the interests of the developed countries. We are already seeing migration in Europe from Africa, etc., and even within Europe, cross-border migration. So the migration issue is a critical social issue that more or less sharpens the sensitivity of the developed countries to the possibilities of what we call environmental refugees being something that they have to deal with in the future.
So can I take it that you would have left Suriname smiling this time around?
Well, our political directorate over the last few years have become very much involved with the issue of climate change. And I came smiling as a result, and I'm sure I leave smiling.
Good.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right.
His name on camera.
Ulric Trotz.
Just flow when I'm editing. I just want to get
Yeah. Ulric Trotz, Scientific Advisor to the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center.
I
hope that's all
I know
right.
it, he doesn't.